So the first family that we're going to actually do is going to be this assembly here. Okay. And then what we have is some PDFs. We have 4 PDFs for some doubles and for some singles. And these were filters. Is that correct, Mike? And that would, yeah, I saw it. Filter bag housings.
Right.
Okay. So these will be the first things that we need to build. And Mike, do you see how to build that? I mean, how would you go about building that? Would you feel comfortable in building that guy right there? And how much time would it take you?
Probably about an hour or so.
All right.
A couple of rooms.
But you feel comfortable in building what you see. Do you need this picture to tell you what you see? Because I can tell you the one tricky thing is this lid looks like it would have 4 eye hooks in it up here at the top from this picture, but it doesn't really. If you look at it, what it does is these are those eye hooks.
Right.
You see that, correct, Mike?
Correct.
And Eric, you see that as well.
Yeah, I see that. I was noticing. It looks like the one in the picture actually has 4.
So
is that just the angle?
For Nate and other people, our goal is going to be, how do we build this? So I don't know. I'm going to just take a snippet of this guy and end up putting him into my front view and into my reference view or top view, right? That's how you guys would do it as well.
Correct.
So that's how we're going to build this first family, and we've got to build it 4 times. So my thought is, on Sunday, we're going to build one of those, and then we're going to see if anyone else wants to build the other ones. Here's my questions for experienced users. What type of family would it be?
Mechanical equipment?
Nah, it could be. It could be. I would think I would make it a plumbing fixture. But mechanical equipment would work as well. It's one of those spots where I think a lot of people have been begging Autodesk to put more subcategories in their group. This is definitely one of those crossovers. The reason I would put it in the plumbing fixture as opposed to the mechanical equipment is I typically think of things that are mechanical equipment related to the air and typically have connections for both air and water, where this is just water going through. So that's why I would make that. And let me check. There aren't any other good options, are there? When we go to systems, we only have plumbing fixture, and there's the mechanical equipment. So we don't have a whole heck of a lot of options. But I don't think you would be wrong to make it mechanical equipment. I just know I like to typically turn my mechanical equipment on when I'm showing my air, because it's usually related to the air. Does that make sense?
It does.
And if you look at where it's located, I think that, and I definitely would not be making that as a pipe accessory. The next one we're going to get into, that's going to be a pipe accessory, right? So the next one we're going to get into, I got a question for you, Mike. It's going to be very challenging with that many valves on how you know which one to put in your pipe.
You are not kidding.
How are you planning on knowing that and doing that?
Well, I mean, as far as the valves go, from what I've looked at right now, you've got 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and a few 4 inches right out the gate. And
Correct.
So, and there might be some 1/2 inch ones in there as well. But ultimately, what I was thinking at first, to have one valve with an actuator on top and the other one with a handle on top. Or like one family with those 2 variables with a toggle, turn on and turn off. But I think that'll be even more confusing at that point. So in my mind, it would be easier just to do individual ones for that.
Well, what's going to happen is if you got 31 valves in your project, that's going to be a major challenge.
Yep.
When you say, what kind of valve do I need to put in? So what I'd like to know, and this is something that maybe Nate can help us with if you don't have an easy way to do it, or maybe Tyler will be able to figure out a way to do it. I'm hoping they're both going to watch this later so that we can get together on Sunday. But what we need to decide is, it seems like you got a plug valve, right?
Yep. And the
And
ball.
a plug valve, and then a flanged ball valve. Now
Right.
that is all referring to this assembly down here on the bottom,
Right.
right?
Yep.
However, I don't believe it's got the same actuator on it.
Yeah, they're all different.
They're all different.
Some have the little, like right there where your mouse is right now, that little piece that's off to the side, 3.9 or 3.09. Some have it going to the side, some have it going to the back. But ultimately, that's, where the air is going to be hooked up to control, the opening and closing.
So let's ask ourselves one question deeper. Can that be rotated in the field?
I'm sure it could, but they probably wouldn't. You want to try to keep it as narrow as possible because of, like, for instance, since I've been working on the project a little bit, there's so many of them gang together in some spots that if they're, rotated, they would never fit on, like, in line.
Have you noticed anything up here in this boilerplate that tells me whether it's rotated or not?
No.
Okay. See. You didn't have any pictures of these either, did you? Or it would take you a while because you'd have to get 30 different pictures.
Yeah, right.
And these I saw sizes of 2, 3, 4, and I think I saw some 1.5 inches.
Okay. Should be some 1 inch as well.
You glad mine expired too? There should be
It's
some 1
so
inch.
infuriating when you're trying to work and that pops up every time.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's how they get your credit card. Did you do enough digging to decide how many? I mean,
No.
my recommendation would be, if it was me, I would put all of the ones with this same assembly down here together, and they would all be either called ball valves or plug valves.
Okay.
And then I would try to make this thing up top here parametric, so that you could say that was driven off of what size it was. Now, I will tell you that when I looked at this, all right, what you don't understand is, you see this thing right here that, let's see, this thing right here?
Mm-hmm.
In CAD, they cheated on that, okay? Because you see how it says 1/4 inch NPT and you see the size of the hole?
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the next one, the size of the hole's bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, because they just scaled this whole thing up. Actually, you find out they didn't scale it up, but they did scale it up. It's really weird how they did it. This isn't the true size. What we want to hold is these numbers and these numbers. We want to build this assembly up top. We want to build this actuator, and we want to build this type valve. And then we'll use that actuator. Now, you're introducing another thing that you never told me about, the handles.
Correct.
In which case, you're talking about everything from right here up turns into a handle.
No.
No?
That little C channel right there?
Right
Down.
here?
The other one? The one below that? All that right there goes away, and then there's a handle.
Straight up out of here.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
And what does that handle look like? Because I don't have any pictures of that handle.
I know. I would have to provide you one and see if I have one.
Do you think it would be a different size for each valve?
Yes.
That's just a thing, though. You don't know. Okay.
Yeah. It's been a challenge, to say the least.
Okay. And is it a round handle or is it a throw lever?
Oh yeah.
Hey, you made it!
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I did it. I figured it out. Cool.
All right. So you want an option whether it's got an actuator or a handle.
Right. Well, if we do them as separate families, then you're looking at again doubling the amount of. Now you're talking about like 60, 70. Because from what I can tell right now, every one of these are here. A lot of times they have one with an actuator and then one with a handle right next to it.
So tell me what you want me to put on there. I know we might have to change it. What do you want to be put on there?
I mean, I think the way to go is just to have the actuator as a separate family and then have another one as a separate.
No. I need to know what kind of handle you want to put on top of it.
Oh, I got one. I'll get you information. I'll do some homework in the
Dude,
morning.
I don't care if you just take a picture out of a magazine and say that's the handle I want.
All right. That'll
All
work.
right.
Okay.
Oops, she dropped out. Now she's back. There you are. Can we hear you now? No, your mic's up. Your mic's up in the air. So
You should be able to hear me.
yeah, we can hear you now.
Hear you.
Okay. I'm trying to snip everything I did.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah.
So this is the one that I said Mike is bad because this one you can get lost if you don't sprinkle breadcrumbs. So we need to think about these valves a little bit better. And I'm hoping that Misty's going to show me a couple of her valves, but maybe not tonight, maybe on Sunday.
All
Because
right.
she's been struggling with, I wouldn't even say struggling. She's been working on exactly what hit you. All right. I don't see this as a problem. We'll have these in there, but I can tell you, we got to come up with a way to name these things so that you can put them in. So when you look at the plan, I really like to know you're getting that AutoCAD file. That's not going to tell you.
Nope.
So how do you know which valve it is?
PNIDs.
PNID.
Actually, that's not even the correct statement. So you have to go to the PNIDs to get the number, but ultimately there's a spreadsheet that they've provided us that you have to dig through and figure out which one of those is associated with that tank. So you're literally digging.
What number are they giving you here? Are they giving you the serial number?
The 0760.
All right.
So that's the number that is in the spreadsheet.
Well, that's good. That actually told me something that I didn't know before. So that should tell me that all these 0760s are all approximately the same. All the 07s I would have thought would have been the same, and that's not the case.
Yeah, I haven't found much alike with them, unfortunately.
Well, that's a good grunt job. All we got to do then, Eric, is build a couple of those subfamilies and then just get them to throw that together. On Sunday, I don't know if you're going to join or if you want to watch later, Mike, I'll teach you how to build the first one. And then, like I said, I'm hoping that other people can take off from there. But to be honest, I would really hope that Tyler and Ginger or Nate would attempt to draw one of these things, one of the filters, and one of the valves.
Right.
But to do this appropriately, what's the most important part? And this is the part that you really don't get until it happens to you. If you're not careful, if you delete those connectors by deleting one of the objects, and then you make that valve from a different family, that's when you try to swap the one valve out for the other valve, and it doesn't end up working.
Right.
And see, that's what we have to have these valves so that you can pick from the one style to the other style. Because to be quite honest with you, to be truly honest with you, if you really are going back to a P&ID, remember we talked about that guy right there?
Mm-hmm.
I think it might make your job go a lot smoother if we learned how to do that. Does that make sense? Do you think you have that time in your schedule? Do you think that's something you want to do?
Yeah, I mean,
I showed you some videos on it.
right.
That would be the easiest way for you to fix the valves according to the areas.
Right. Well, at this point, and just so you know, I mean, I have already built these things. But,
Oh, you've already built them and put them in?
well, a 3-inch, a 2-inch, and a 1-inch.
But you're just talking about, all right, see.
But
That-
but I didn't build them properly.
Did you place them?
Yes.
Okay, see, so what's going to happen is that's where I'm saying if they don't have those same connector IDs, when you switch from yours to ours, it's going to mess up the pipe.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, well, Autodesk typically does.
And you can't delete the ones that's there and put a new one in because then you've lost any scheduling information off of it, correct?
Well, it's probably not that far.
No. Like right now, I'm just popping them in there because there's one area. It's pretty much there's 5 areas, and there's one area that it ultimately was supposed to be started, or not started, but populated by today. So I put these beautiful little families that I built in there.
Well, show us what you got.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I better not.
Please show us.
Come on now.
Please, come on.
We all have to be
Come on, Mike. I want to see it.
All right, give me a second here.
You did the jobs in 2022, though?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once again, what did we say a second ago? Autodesk sucks because we're going to be building these in 2020. And that means we can't actually take your family with the connectors in the same location. How many have you placed? 1 million of them or a couple dozen?
Quite a few. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I mean, there's this very first part is the only part I've done it so far, and so not too many.
So when you made yours, did you make it so that it automatically, if it like this one here, remember the problem that we used to have is that this, and this, if you put a 3-inch in a 2-inch line, it puts those reducers. Is that what you want to happen? Or would you rather pick the valve and when it goes into the line, it automatically adjusts to the proper size?
That's a tough question there. Not really tough question. I mean, I wouldn't they be basically different sizes? I mean, how would they adjust?
They'll adjust. Mine will adjust. Mine will decide, will read the size of the pipe. How they adjust is like this, Mikey. If this diameter, see that guy right there? He's called radius.
Mm-hmm.
See him right there? He's called radius.
Mm-hmm.
If that is an instance parameter,
Gotcha.
it will then allow it to adjust to the size. And
Yeah.
you can see none of theirs. Theirs are all tight parameters. So that was always part of the frustration.
Hmm.
See, because I think I can find a better rhythm through those 31 objects where it's basically like some check boxes. But you see, and this is the part that most people don't understand, and especially not even the plumbing manufacturers is. Hold on one second. I got to get over there to Ginger and let her in the door. Hey, Ginger.
Hey.
So if that family wasn't started if all those families weren't started from the same family, parameters that we put in there, like actuator versus handle, you couldn't select all those different types at the same time and be able to turn their handle on if they didn't all come from the same initial file. Does everyone understand what I'm saying there? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Misty? If all of the valves that you have in your project don't come from the exact same starting family, you won't be able to select. And here's how I'm
And
thinking.
replace them. Yeah. Pull.
If we do that, if we have that parameter in our first family that we've built, what'll happen is I can select all of the plug valves, ball valves, and gate valves, and any other valves he's got in one area, and go up and turn their handles on with one click. Whereas if they come from different, after you've made that parameter, then you don't have that adjustability. Does that make sense? And Autodesk just doesn't tell anyone that. Now, I will tell you that my recommendation is how this is actually going to end up getting built is these will all be assemblies. We're going to have a very simple pipe accessory that the diameter and the takeout length, because we all know that this is like the most important thing. How far this is off center, that's only going to be so that you could visually in the model make sure you're not getting into something else. It's not like that number has to be dead on. But Mike, you would agree this takeout length needs to be correct. So my question to you is, how are you handling the flanges? Are you fighting flanges? Are you not putting flanges in? This
Fighting
is where,
them like crazy.
huh?
Fighting them like crazy.
Well, that's where I'm telling you that I think we should help you with that. How far did you get on making your fittings? Or are your fittings fictional?
I've only made one fitting at this point.
Show us what you got, Mike.
Well,
Please.
I've got all my,
Vulnerable. That's the word. Got to be vulnerable.
don't you have to share like my screen or change
Nope.
my?
Nope. Once you kick up, I can push you right up on the screen. We can all look and hopefully not laugh too hard. I'm joking.
Well, I mean, I'm set. Mine says stop sharing at the bottom of my screen.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So this is my beautiful.
These are nice.
And you
These
did
are
that
real
with
nice.
4 revolves. Okay.
For the most part, yes. And then that's why I said I did 2 different, families. Not that it has to be that way. And I just put a beautiful little handle there because I haven't really looked deep enough into it yet to see. But ultimately, that's what I've built so far.
And they put one with a handle as a safety in case the one with the actuator has a problem.
Well, I guess that's what they did. Yeah. So if this one here is not, working properly, they have this backup where they can turn it off immediately, I'm assuming.
Okay. And then get me to that next flange that's just above the damn. Yep, that was the one.
Yeah, that's a slip-on 150 for everything.
And has he been giving you problems or no?
Well, of course. I mean, like, because as soon as you know how Revit is. I mean, like, if I go to do anything, I have to, like, pull it from here,
Yep. That's the way I taught you.
If I do this right here, well, it didn't do it that time, but a lot of times they'll just blow away. So, there's that rhyme or reasoning. You have to put that together and you have to put this together because if you, do it in a different rotation, it just seems to blow it all up, whatever. So,
Yep.
um, so yeah. And then, there's a hose reel.
Let me ask you a question when you go back to that thing. Do you want the whole valve to turn purple?
I guess it's doing it because that's the color that I gave it, the line.
Yeah, but I can actually show you a way that you can keep that from happening to those to the object on the end. My question to you is: would you rather it all be purple, or would you like to see a little bit of additional detail?
Well, I like it because it does kind of give me the sense that it's on the right system, but I don't really like. I don't care for it 100% personally.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like to see it because there's a lot of times I like the dudes to be gray in my model and there's just too much color.
That's why I'm offering that
Yeah.
up. I'll show you how we do end up doing that.
Cool.
Right.
Cool.
So,
all right, show me your hose reel. Build a
so
hose reel too.
here's a quick view of kind of what I'm dealing with just in one little tiny area.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is the fitting that I was telling you about that I have built.
Uh-huh.
It's a stainless steel Y.
Yep.
3 inches. And as you can see, I mean, it's very basic, but it works.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. So then I had no information on this right here, so I literally traced this off of the CAD file, which it's almost impossible because you have to. I mean, yeah, it was challenging. Now, of course, they in the CAD file had a little like a hose on here, and I'm not quite that fancy. Now, what we have with this hose,
I'll show you how you can take it up one notch. Double click on that family real quick and edit it, if you don't mind.
okay.
All right. Turn yourself so you can see where the actual hose is. Turn a little bit. There you go. All right. So you put the fillet in the bottom. All right. Double click on that spool that's got that where the hose would wrap up.
Oh wow! I didn't know you double click on that.
All right. In where the hose would roll in. Yep, that guy right there. I've seen people just simply put a couple humps in that thing.
Gotcha.
Right, and then it rotate around. That's not recommended because it's going to start to weigh down your project if you're in a super big project.
I got you.
But if you would just take that fillet out of the center of it, out of the one that's on the lower part of the screen, the little radius guy, get rid of that. Trim those two things back together.
Can I draw? Right. I can't draw you, can I?
That's perfect. Oh yeah, you can draw just like you're doing. You're doing just fine. Now just drag that one horizontal line about halfway north to replicate where the hose would actually be.
Copy it or drag it?
Just drag it. Yep, just drag it up there a little bit. About halfway.
This is frozen on me.
It's still working for me. It's still working. So see if it comes back. All right, finish your sketch. You're going to get a kick out of this. Because this is how you really need to add detail to these kinds of things. So if you go back to your 3D view now where we can see that thing, and all you need to do, perfect. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to paint that surface. So we need to make a paint. So if you'll go to materials, which is under, I believe, manage. Make me a brand new one. Typically, I tell people to do that from the one that's named default. If you go down to D, there's one named default, and I duplicate that thing. All right. rename that hose. All right. Now put a surface pattern on it on the foreground. You see where it says pattern none, foreground? Yep. Go to model. No, at the top, there's a model tab. Perfect, because we don't want this to change size and make a brand new one. At the bottom, there's a little star piece of paper. And I typically name that hose as well. Make your line angle be 90. Make it parallel lines and do it about 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Say okay and okay. Now, if you really wanted this to be like maybe going into renderings and stuff, you would also change the appearance as well, but that's all right. Now, go to the paint tool, which is underneath modify.
That's much proper.
Nope, that was it. That's it. That's it. That's paint. Go back to where you were.
It's the circle with the arrow to the square, I believe.
Yep, it's a little circle with a little sphere with. That's it. Nope, you just passed it right beside the move button. Over to the. That's it. That's it. Paint and unpaint. You want to do paint.
Okay.
When that comes up, you'll see it's already on the hose. It remembers the last material that you made. Go try to paint that face. That would be the hose face. All right, paint the top one too.
I did.
You got both of them painted?
Yeah.
All right, then you can hit done. All right, now let's go back to the material and adjust that material just a little bit. And it should remember the last material you were in. You see where it? Nope. Yep, that's fine. Go ahead. Was it? Could you see it on your screen? Because we couldn't quite see it on our screen. Could you see the lines?
There were like 3 of them.
There was like 3 of them. So make that spacing a little bit tighter.
How do I get back to the change it?
Right there, you hit the pencil at the bottom corner.
There it is. So maybe make that like 1/2 inch.
Yeah, you could even go 1/4 inch, to be quite honest with you. Really, it would be the size of the hose, which is probably a 1/2 inch.
Okay.
And before you okay all the way out, change your color to black or a dark color. So you can okay out of here though. And that one right there, that top color, change that to dark, and then it'll pop out even more, and it'll look cool.
All right, I like it.
All right, and you don't add a lot of geometry to your model.
Right.
Sometimes people will take now one little circle, a 1/2 inch circle, and let it dangle down out of there. And all it's going to be is from the top view, it's just going to be a cylinder that you draw, and you just basically letting it dangle down like it's a black hose.
Yeah, but let's see. I think it's supposed to come out right here.
No,
I think the way it's designed, the hose is supposed to come out here.
okay. So if you wanted to go to your front view and you wanted to do a little sweep, you could draw yourself like a little flexible hose. You could even put a little kink in it if you wanted, and then you could put that color on it. Does that make sense? So right here in this view, you would go to create.
Yeah, this reminds me of you see I left my image in there, Eric. You remember what that reminds me of when you told Angie that's how Mike draws his families. He just puts PDFs in the family. Remember that?
I like doing that. I keep mine in. I know I'm supposed to delete them. Go ahead.
Well, no. The answer is whether or not you're supposed to delete them is really about what the size of the family is. And I'll be honest with you, that's where I want Jaffe to teach me enough Rhino that I can go delete those, because you should be able to go delete those. They're not a problem until your project gets to be a problem. Then who wants to go back in the family and find those images?
Mm-hmm. All right, so sorry, I apologize. So you want me to go and do what now? Go to create?
Right there in that view. Right now, just go to create.
Okay.
And do a sweep.
Okay.
There you go. Start at the top of the circle. No, not pick edges. Not pick edges. It can't cancel. Did you do sketch?
I did.
Okay. And then you just go straight out of there through the little holder. Now, do you want it from there? Do you want it to dangle down a little bit?
Yeah.
Right. And put a little fillet on that. And there you go. And then you just put a little 1/2-inch circle on the sketch path. So, but there you go. There you go. Or actually, that would be a little bit closer, but you're fine. No one's ever going to know it.
All right. Then
and then you go profile, and you want to say edit profile. It's going to warn you should be in another view to do that, or in a 3D view. You can go to anyone you want. That's fine. Find that little red thing and put a 1/2-inch diameter circle or a 1/4-inch radius circle. There you go. And finish it.
now tell me what the deal is with this, because I always have issues with it, so I always click on that right there.
That is whether it's hosted on a work plane. That is released from work plane. And see, you need to release that from the work plane because you don't have a plane out there. So that's why you learn to click on that, because if you don't click on that, you can't slide it over sideways. Now, a properly built family, that's not how you do it, but there's no reason that you can't. Right?
Right.
Now, if you only just put the material, I personally would just put that same hose material. There might be a line on there, but you could actually say some hoses have a line on it, but it would be black then. So you know how to put the material on that thing you just made?
Yeah.
No. That I wouldn't paint.
Oh, you wouldn't?
Nope. Escape out of that. Just pick that piece that you just drew. So it's blue. And right over on the properties where it says material by category, make that, click on that little dot that's at the end of it. First, you have to click on the word by category. Then you see the dots. And it'll already be on hose because it remembers the material you were just doing, and you hit OK. It's already on. It was already on it. You got off of it.
That's all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That'll make you look even more professional.
I'm looking for that. So sweet. That's pretty slick. I mean, I hate the hose there. I'll have to work on that a little bit, but anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of like, and like I said, I mean, I can send you what I have. I mean, like this thing right here. But to populate it, like I said, I mean, I have created the 1-inch, the 2-inch, and the 3-inch, which for this area, that's all I've needed at this point.
I want to see something. Let's see. Oh, not that one. This one here. SWS ball valve 2-inch 130. And your idea was the 130 was the number correlated to the PDF number that you told me was important. In other words, that 130 where'd you get the 130? That's this number right here.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So the rest of it's basically the description of the valve, and then at the end we'll put the actual item number.
Right. And I'm gonna, here's the problem right now with my families. Pretty much all I did was ball valves. So,
well, you see what I just picked up?
what's that?
I know where that number comes from. That number right there, that
Mhm.
0110, you know where that comes from?
No.
It comes from, hold on, let me pull this over here and get us back to looking like that. That number comes from this number right here. That number comes from this number. See this here? This is drawing number 27. So therefore it's 0270.
Hmm.
See this here? This is drawing number 73. That's
Oh,
why it's 0730.
oh, okay. Hmm. Okay.
So my question to you, are you given that 0730? Is that how you were looking it up from the P&ID, or would the 73 work?
No, that item number is the one that they're using.
That item number is how they're calling it out from the P&ID, and the rest of the nonsense you got to go through.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the only thing that I'm going to try to give you that warning was the fact that because yours is built from a different family,
Right.
it won't tell me this. I'm going to go back to your screen. Could you go to one of those and show me what the fitting, if you actually go into that family right there? Perfect. It's coming. Pick one of the connection points at the end. And give me a second so I can see what it says. You did a global, calculated bi-directional. All right. Why'd you do global?
Because I didn't like any of the other ones.
Because you never know what system you're going to choose to connect
Oh.
that valve. That's why I like it.
Thank you, Misty, for chiming in, because that's exactly what I'm looking at. Is I want the question then becomes: is it the global or is it the fitting?
Right.
What's the difference between the global and the fitting? Does anyone know?
I
And the
know
rest,
that I'm doing elbows right now, fittings, and I'm messing with the elbows, and I'm choosing fitting, but this isn't a fitting. This is a valve.
and what's at the top of that list when you pick that? I know we got global and fitting. Oh,
Hydronic supply, hydronic return, sanitary vent, hot water, cold water, domestic,
so other fitting and global are the three that we would choose, but other is really more like natural gas and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And see, what they're doing is, the reason they want to put it that way is so that it sort of helps the user, because he's got to pick which valve it is, to basically tell you, hey, this is not a good idea. You're putting a sanitary valve on a hydronic system.
Gotcha.
That's what I've learned to this point. I'm sure there's people that know it better than me. I would have led for these valves are going in what equipment you're delivering. So if you go back to your project, can you show me what system you put those in? Yep, you can close that. Yeah. So if you pick that purple pipe up above, I love how you're using the colors and everything. Yep. Yep. And now what I want to see is if you go under your project browsers to your system types.
Oh.
Your pipe system types. You know where? No, I'm not talking about right there. Down below, if you go down to where your families are in your project browser, where you have all your views, if you scroll down to families, can you do that? You know what I'm talking about? No?
Yeah, I mean, what am I looking for? I'm sorry. The pipe type.
Yeah, I wanted to know, and you might be able to see it. What does it say for the system classification up above there? I can't quite read it.
I mean, piping systems is what, and I made all these right here. So this one right here, let's see, is the TN whatever.
Yeah, right above your SWSTN. What is the word that says there? It's just blurry on my screen. I can't read it.
Right above there, it says SWS SRF.
Domestic cold water.
Domestic cold water. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That's what I. Thank you.
I think I can barely read it myself.
And that was what I was after, and that's where I'm saying to you, Mike. And you might not want to do it on this project because as fast tracked as you are. But if you scroll down on your project browser to where the families are all, where the mechanical equipment and pipe fittings and all of that stuff's listed.
Right.
Can you scroll down there and get me to pipe systems?
That's what I'm under. That's what I'm telling you. I made all these.
No. You're in the properties box. I want you to be in the project browser.
So not that.
Take your cursor down the screen about halfway. Maybe I'm not seeing your screen anymore.
I'm in the families.
Hold on.
Here's the families.
Yeah, that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. I'm having the exact same problem Eric had.
Gotcha.
I apologize that whole time. All I was wanting to see, and I can no longer see your screen. Can anyone see?
Yeah, I just got everything just went black for me as well.
Oh.
How about now? How about now? You can see my screen.
There it is.
All right. So what I'm trying to tell you, Mike, instead of me trying to aim you that way, is your pipe systems underneath families, underneath pipe systems. You got a bunch of abbreviated stuff right in this area right here, right?
Correct.
All right.
That I made myself.
Yes. When you made it, what you have to understand, and this is important when you're starting a project, is this right here. You cannot change the system classification.
Gotcha.
So what it shows me is when you made all your different types, you duplicated from domestic cold water.
Correct.
Now, my question to you is, are these pipes in a closed loop system? Like the hydronic lines. In other words, they go out hot and they come back. We got the hot water supply and the hot water return.
Mm-hmm.
Do yours have supply and return on them?
No.
They do not. They just go, they're one directional.
They go from one tank to another tank.
Okay. If you're not having supply and return, that was all I was worried about. Gotcha. Is because I know I kicked myself on multiple jobs because I didn't start from hydronic supply and a hydronic return. Because forever I tried to ask engineers, what is domestic cold? What is domestic hot? What is hydronic supply? What is hydronic return? I'm going to try to explain it to you. All of these, the domestic cold and the domestic hot, those are one-way trips, as well as the sanitary and the vent, as well as the other. Those are all intended to be one way. The ones you got to worry about when it goes in a closed loop is you want to make sure you're starting from a hydronic supply and a hydronic return. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So more than likely, you probably made all of yours domestic cold water is what you made yours.
Yes, sir.
And my advice would have been to make them with other, which then goes back to the fitting or the ball valve we were looking at. That's why I wouldn't have used global and I would have used other.
I'm with you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Not something that ever has to be repaired, but when you start doing it that way, it makes it a lot easier to control your file, because now I can say, hey, just show me all of my closed loop systems, right? Because I can say, just show me anything that's got the classification of hydronic in it.
Right.
But it's not the end of the world. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a tip. Okay. And so we had one more family to go over. Let's see, because the ones we just looked at, that was what you sent me this picture for, right? This picture was just to show me these valves. This is probably what they looked like before you got to them, or
Right.
this is actually after you got to them.
No, this is that's the CAD file.
So that's the plant 3D
Plant
file.
3D file.
And on your project, remember how you had the one hand lever one and the one actuated valve?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have the same valve and just turn that handle on?
Yes.
So you did do that.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Because I'm the old Mikey I know never would have done that. What is this creature? Wait.
Just the flange is offset.
Oh, right here at the bottom, that's just the flanges offset from there.
Yeah, it's just flange, piece of straight pipe, another
Well, there
flange.
could be another flange there, I would imagine, in their project.
Correct. On the
These little drips of water.
I know.
I was gonna say this system has already failed.
Yep, it's leaking already, Ginger.
Already dripping all over the place. You got leaks coming everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, did they give you the actual? Do you have the submittals on the fittings? Do you need to build your proper fittings?
I don't. For the most part, there's only a few that I need, like those Ys that I don't have, and maybe a few other ones. But
You're not worried about the proper takeout.
no. Now, well, I don't know if you want to continue this right now, but could you go to the internet right quick and Google air pipe?
Oh, I know where this is going. This is going somewhere that ain't for me. That's for somebody else. Air pipe. Let's see.
It's just and I won't spend much time on this right here. It's all, well, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this right here is the piping that they're going to be using for air pipe there. And
that's what's 90% of your work or all of your work?
Oh, no. This is a small portion of it, but this piping system is it's different because you see, like in some of those pictures up there at the very top. Yeah, there you go. I mean, there should be a catalog if you dig deep enough, whatever, well, you can see in some of the pictures, I guess, that they show up there, how it doesn't, like, the fittings are just not like just normal fittings, and some of them come off because they're screwed.
Yeah. That's in a very unusual coupler.
Yeah, and not only that, but like sometimes when it comes off the top of the pipe, it doesn't come straight off. It kind of offsets it to the north or south from the pipe, and it's just some different types of fittings. Now that's a different type of fitting there, but
That's a whole different type of fitting.
yeah, but I wasn't. I'm just not having like those blue pipe that you see with all the
Right in here. Yep.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
So I haven't had any success in finding any kind of fittings for those right there. Since you just mentioned like the fittings, the majority of the piping is stainless steel, so I'm good with what I have. And then there's some fancy.
But that's a little bit like the Nupi system on the hotel and the casino.
Yeah.
The way Nupi had its own special fittings.
Correct. Yep.
And you did not find Revit families.
I did not.
Okay. And you're not concerned about trying to make that look appropriate, or that's a potential in the future?
That's one of those ones where, like, I would like to make it look like this, and there's got to be something either out there, for this type of product. Because if you just Google just air pipe all in one word and like go under images, then some stuff pops up that looks like it could be,
It looks like it's this stuff here.
Yeah. Correct. That's some of the, like, if you see view more products, or if you go to that, I don't know if you can enlarge that little catalog looking piece. Oh, let's see. So it's just like it's a little, that one right there. You see that fitting right there in the middle and bottom?
This guy?
Yeah. So that right there, it doesn't come off the pipe. It goes into the fitting, and then the fitting comes down the pipe. It's very weird.
Well, they're just clamping that on. They're just drilling a hole in the side of the bigger pipe.
Yep.
and clamping that on, and it's probably got an O-ring seat in there to do all that.
Exactly. But you see, I'm saying it's just different. But
you've got them soothed enough that no one is requiring you to build that.
well, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's it hasn't been an issue yet, but I'd like to have something that looks more like this. And right now, I do not have anything that looks similar to it.
All right.
I'm
And you're
just-
talking about for the standard ones, and the big question then becomes, which method do you use, this one or this one? Which equal T do you use? Right? And which reducing T do you use? That's probably all related to the size. But we could look at them. I can look at them.
Yeah, I didn't want to spend much time. I was just while you were asking about the fitting thing. That was, the one.
All right. Well, and then I guess I'm going to go into the last one, which is the fun one. This was the one I told you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the ugly. I'm guessing that's all you have for this thing. Is this?
No, actually, I have been given a cut sheet on this.
You have been given a cut sheet?
Yeah.
Have you built it already?
So you can. I have, but I mean, yeah. So that one right there, I'm not as stressed anymore over that one.
The only one you're really stressed about is the valves.
The biggest ones, yes. And flex hose.
Flex hose?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have anything on the flex hose. What do you need on the flex hose?
Typical 12-inch, 18-inch, and then one that might be adjustable.
Well, you should have. You don't want it. Why aren't you going to do the flex pipe?
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Yeah, I mean, I did, but just,
Or are you talking about an isolation fitting that basically is that little expansion, like the expansion guys?
Well, I mean, if you go back to that picture you just showed.
Oh boy, that's going to be a challenge. Let's
Oh,
see. That one. You're talking about this guy here?
Right. Something like that.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that with flex pipe.
Okay.
There's no doubt you can easily. Do you know how you did enough of that rerouting of that flex duct to know how to do that, right?
Oh yeah. Can I put a flange on that?
This acts just like a pipe. You just the way how you did that flange before, where you have your flange over here and you drag that flange from here to here, and it'll snap on the end.
It will. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Well, good. Then we got one thing taken care of. More importantly, you don't really need these guys here. Let's see. These ones here, have you already built those, or you'd like me to build a better one of those?
I haven't touched those yet. Those are for a different area. So
all right, good. And what I'm gonna do is this 22, I'm gonna allow you to be able to adjust that.
Gotcha.
Okay. Because they don't tie it back to what the important number, which is the distance between these flanges, because that's what's going to really drive that. And you said you wanted that as mechanical equipment, or are you good with me making a plumbing fixture?
I'm okay with being a plumbing fixture. I mean, since
all right,
I don't have any plumbing, so
this 1/4-inch NPT,
right?
Are you connecting to that?
Yes.
Okay. See, so that's where it becomes real important. Because remember how in Revit, what we can do is if this valve is over here all by himself lonesome, we can say, pick this guy and say connect into. And do you see how it says hydronic supply, hydronic supply?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to make those the correct classification. Because that's where I'm telling you one should say other in, other out, NPT. See, so then you can actually name those guys so you know which one's connecting when you start having multiple objects connect into it.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. So it's not near as important for just a valve that's got two connections. But remember, your valves had that same issue because you got the NPT connection for the air, for the actuator.
Right.
Are you drawing? You're just not drawing that 1/4 inch, right?
Not yet, but
I would imagine you won't, dude. Remember, usually they say anything under 1 inch. Remember
right.
how the electrical guys used to always get out of that by, okay, we won't use any we won't use any 1 inch. We're going to use all 3/4 inch conduit, so we don't have to draw anything,
Yep.
right? I
Yep.
don't think I would. I don't think you'd end up drawing that because that's probably going to be a very flexible hose.
It is.
Okay. But yeah, we'll build these and we'll build the valves and we'll get those to you as quickly as we can this week. I would say probably Monday, maybe Tuesday.
Okay.
And I'm probably just going to send out an invite, let Tyler and Nate know that we're going to do a little Sunday meeting, and Ginger's here and the rest of you guys are here. Are you guys interested in doing Sunday?
I'm good with that.
All right.
Sure.
Misty, do you want to show us anything of yours? Mike, by all means, you can drop off if you want. Or do you have all that stuff on your other job and we'll talk about it maybe on Sunday? Misty, put your mic down. Nope, she got knocked off again, doggone it.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Hey, buddy, have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Misty, we can't hear you. Your mic must not be in the right spot. I don't think those things are frustrating, huh? No, can't hear. We'll do it on Sunday. How about we call this one for the night? Ginger, did you have anything? I'm going to go
No,
ahead.
not really. We're on crunch time.
How you